Breaking news tonight as they are still in the dark in North Carolina. We do not know who shot up and destroyed the electrical grid in that state. 30,000 plus people don't have power, and they will not for a while. This is one of the power substations that was disabled by gunfire. There is no gas at many of the gas stations. Schools are now closed. There are no restaurants. There is no heat in much of the county. Police and the FBI say they have no suspects in a clearly coordinated and targeted attack. Think about that. Who knows who did this or their motive, but it worked. This wasn't kids spray painting bridges, but people who knew exactly what they were doing, exactly where to shoot and what infrastructure to take down inside these power substations, and destroyed something that in a couple of words could be described as critical infrastructure. That's the stuff we allegedly spend tens of billions of dollars every year hardening to prevent an attack just like this. A curfew in Moore County, North Carolina starts in a few hours. Just a few well-placed rounds of ammunition can take out the entire grid, did take out the entire grid of Moore County. Just imagine what 3 or 4 people could do around one of America's major cities. In fact, what happened in North Carolina on a very small scale is exactly what Russia is doing in Ukraine on a very large scale. Russia took out a couple of major power switches and put the city of Kyiv into blackness. That's a few switches, and 3.4 million people can't get water, can't take elevators, can't turn on lights. Hospitals have to stop operations, and it can take weeks or months to repair them. Quite simply, there is no way to defend America's power grid. Most of the switching stations sit along major roads. By design, the equipment is out in the open, protected by a chain link fence. In short, someone over the weekend just exposed America's Achilles heel. Ed Davis is here, former Boston police commissioner who led the marathon bombing investigation. Ed, it's always good to see you, sir. FBI now says they're involved in this with precious few leads. No license plates, no pictures, no surveillance video, no gas station surveillance video, nothing.
Right. That is troubling, Leland, to have an attack like this that's affected so many innocent people and the most vulnerable in our society, the elderly that need medical equipment, gas stations, other things that people need to live. It's really unconscionable that someone would do this to their neighbors. But it's also strange that we don't have video surveillance around these critical pieces of infrastructure. You can't build a wall around everything, and it's easy to get a gunshot off in the direction of one of these big targets. But the truth of the matter is, there needs to be something done to step up security. This is not the first time we've seen this. This happened almost 10 years ago.
At some level, it's one thing to sort of take out a couple of transformers in a neighborhood, but to be able to use single shots of gunfire, presumably rifle fire, to disable these massive transformers and do it in a way that takes out the redundancy. If we look at the map, Carthage and Southern Pines, the area that is in blackness is in the middle of those two, right near Pinehurst, where they play a lot of golf. These are people who had to know what they were doing. It doesn't take long to imagine that all of a sudden people are holding power stations ransom. All of a sudden you're taking out not Pinehurst, but Charlotte, right?
Right. 10 years ago, we worried about international terrorism. Now we worry about domestic terrorism. Whoever's responsible for it has found a vulnerability. And if people start to exploit this, there could be very, very negative consequences. These really are tactics of war, as you said in the lead into this interview.
I'm thinking about the state senator and the sheriff. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Folks, this was a terrible act, and it appears to be an intentional, willful, and malicious act. And the perpetrator will be brought to justice and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Folks, we're living in some challenging times that I never thought in my 40 years in law enforcement.
Forgive me, but I just don't feel that inspired that they've got the resources or the understanding to be able to find these folks.
Right. Well, local authorities are always very, very important to an investigation, but I was really happy to see the FBI step in here.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.